Good evening.
Good evening, Salam sir. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, pretty audible. Dr.
Yes, sir.
Swaroop, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Salam.
Yeah, uh, everyone. Arun Mohan, sir, we are good to go.
Yes, sir. So, dear educators, today we are going to, talk about the simple holistic progression card and the guidance to make it. So, it is my time to welcome the well-modified human being. That's me. Okay. So, good evening to all the exuberant educators. Welcome to our BTAG in association with CBSE Bharat Sahodaya. Now, I proudly present our dear moderator, Ms. Himani. Ms. Himani has a decade of experience as a teacher of English language and literature. She is a master in English literature from the prestigious Lady Shri Ram College, New Delhi. She has been actively involved in promoting holistic education and experiential learning among students. She is currently working at the Modern School, New Delhi, at and also New Delhi at the high school English language and literature teacher. She is also the subject coordinator of middle school and secondary wing. She has rendered her service as an observer in National Achievement Survey 2021. So, Himani ma'am, wholeheartedly, I invite you to this grand session. Stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Arun Mohan sir, and you seem better than last time.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
good to see you
Now, I've been
getting
actually on a tour, ma'am. Yeah, just this evening I reached back home.
better. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get well soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Salam sir, should I continue? Should I begin?
Yeah, please start, please start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A very good evening, everyone. Before we begin, I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Abdul Salam and CBSE Bharat Sahodaya Complex for giving me this great opportunity. I also extend a very warm welcome to all the participants. It is indeed a pleasure to have each one of you as an important part of the webinar as we embark together on this enlightening journey of gaining insight in making holistic progress card in today's 191st web training series. The CBSE Bharat Sahodaya community, along with today's very talented resource person, Dr. Swaroop Datta, will seek to provide valuable inputs in this session. In an era of dynamic learning, the Holistic Progress Card emerges as a comprehensive tool aiming to capture not just academic achievements, but also the broader spectrum of a student's development. Going beyond grades, it incorporates aspects such as character development, extracurricular involvement, and social skills, providing a more nuanced and insightful measure of a student's overall growth. Designed to transcend conventional assessment methods, the Holistic Progress Card is a pioneering initiative tailored for the intricacies of the Indian education system. Embracing a holistic approach, it considers not only a scholastic aptitude, but also places emphasis on the development of critical life skills, ethical values, and a well rounded personality. This innovative tool seeks to bridge the gap between traditional academic evaluations and the multifaceted requirements of the 21st century learner, fostering a more inclusive and balanced educational experience for students. In today's webinar, we will delve into the intricacies of the Holistic Progress Card, exploring a sample format and providing valuable guidance on how to tailor it to your educational context. Join us as we navigate the dimensions of comprehensive student evaluation, aiming to empower educators in creating a more enriched and a meaningful educational journey for their students. So before we begin with today's session, there are a few things I would like to brief you about. Switching on your device cameras is optional. However, any query during the session can be conveyed through the meeting chat box. To have an interactive experience, you may note down your queries and ask them at the end of the session. A resource person will be happy to dispel your doubts. Please click the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called out for asking your query. The participants will have the opportunity to receive certificate only after filling up the certificate and feedback form, the link for which will be shared at the end of the session. Kindly stay connected till the end of the session. At this juncture, on behalf of all of us present in the webinar, I would like to thank Dr. Salam for empowering us with such enlightening sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Abdul Salam, who is the distinguished CBSE resource person and master trainer. Sir is the principal of Vibgyor High, Bangalore. He's also the founder of BTAG, that is Bharat Transformers Academy Group, a consortium of educators and the teaching fraternity across the globe, connecting them together to empower the nation. Sir, it is indeed our pleasure to have your gracious presence, and I would request you to take over and deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Ms. Himani. Good evening, everybody. Well, respected resource person, Dr. Swaroop Datta, moderator Himani ma'am, and the modified Arun Mohan, respected educators, hearty welcome to 191st web training series of BTAG. I believe today we have more leaders, more heads, principals, vice principals today, keenly looking forward to making holistic progress card from Dr. Swaroop Datta. I believe a few schools have already started implementing or making and this 360-degree holistic progress card, including my school, we have implemented. It's not a single paper, it's a comprehensive evaluation by the students, parents, and teachers. So we are thankful to Dr. Swaroop Datta for offering this exclusive session for making how to make holistic progress card. Hope all the schools will benefit from this session. Please ask your queries, make this as interactive as possible. Soon after the session, we should be able to make it for our own schools. Every school may be looking forward to get it from CBSE, but CBSE has already given the guidelines how to make it. So please let us listen to Dr. Swaroop Datta. Once again, I would like to welcome everybody on board. Let's listen to the sessions. Dr. Swaroop Datta, over to the moderator, Himani. Thank you.
Thank you, Salam, sir, for your enlightening words. Ladies and gentlemen, now we shall proceed to the highlight of today's webinar. Today, amidst us, we have very talented Dr. Swaroop Datta. Dr. Swaroop Datta, MSc, B.Ed, BHMS, is the principal of MSM English School and Junior College in Malkapur, Maharashtra. He holds the prestigious role of Zonal Training Coordinator and Master Trainer for CBSE, covering Pune and Thiruvananthapuram. He is the CBSE City Coordinator for Buldhana District. He is the founder president of Buldhana Sahodaya School Complex and a member of the CBSE Affiliation Review Committee. Dr. Datta also serves as an advisor for Zoom Class Technologies and is a mentor for the Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation and CEIR Global. Dr. Datta's career is highlighted by becoming India's first school principal to attain the status of a Master Black Belt. He is a certified Green Belt, Global Career Counselor, and Law of Attraction Master Practitioner. His diverse expertise includes being a professional English trainer, authoring a grammar book series called Syntax. As a life and consciousness coach, Dr. Datta provides high-quality education to rural schools in India. Dr. Swaroop Datta's notable accomplishments have been celebrated on numerous prestigious platforms. Sir, on behalf of everyone present, I welcome you and request you to take over the proceedings for the evening.
Thank you so much, Himani ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm thankful to Dr. Salam for giving me this opportunity to share with all of you a holistic progress card that I have designed for my school. In fact, many schools of Maharashtra were asking me, if CBSE has come up with a particular model, but we kept waiting for it. CBSE gave the guidelines, but then now exams have already been concluded and the report cards are yet to be, some schools have already given away the report cards for this academic session first, and few are waiting to give it away. So, I designed one for my school and then thought of sharing with others as well till the time CBSE comes up with a format of their own. You can use your own format if you want, but this is only a suggestive format that I found very useful. So I'll be sharing with all of you. The only thing that is required is, in case you want to adopt this format that I have designed, just a mention, because it's copyrighted. So it just need to be mentioned on your report card that this has been taken. You take a written permission from me through my mail, and you can use it for your schools if you feel like doing so. So let me share my screen first. Give me a moment for that. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Right. Okay, so I know I'll not take too much time showing you the slides, because I know you've been looking at slides for the last few months. Those who are trying to present a view of their holistic progress card have only shown the slides, what it is supposed to be like. They have not come up with a clear-cut format. So today I'm not going to waste time showing you, what it should be like, but what I'm doing on this PowerPoint presentation is reminding you what are the features that should be there. I'll probably do it in another 15 minutes, and then we will jump into the cards straight away. So the holistic progress card, a pathway to comprehensive assessment. And, we are talking about this holistic progress card based on the National Education Policy and the National Curriculum Framework. So the documents that I have used to design this holistic progress card, the documents are, of course, the NEP 2020, the NCF, and the Nipun document. The Nipun document is also very useful in terms of the holistic progress card. Now, when we talk about the report card, we are talking about revolutionizing the report cards. The conventional format is supposed to go away, and we are supposed to have a new format altogether. And this format should have not only the academic growth of the child, but it should highlight the socio-emotional growth, the physical wellness, and the aesthetic sense or artistic side of the child as well. So we celebrate the students' artistic abilities, encouraging creativity and self-expression through various art forms. And that is where, art integrated pedagogy and sport integrated pedagogy has come in very, very strongly. And schools are adopting these pedagogies to, implement the holistic progress card along with the pedagogy associated with it. So the basics, first of all, the overview of NEP and NCF, we are not going to talk about it because by this time, I think that everyone is aware of what the NEP contains and what the NCF is all about. I covered a session on this probably 2 weeks back. So I'm not going to repeat what I already told. You can see the video, which is there in the Bharat Sahodaya YouTube channel. So breaking down the components of the holistic progress card, you should have achievements of the academic side, the life skills, the values and ethics, and the physical health. When we are talking about the competencies for each grade, now this is something that is NCF talking about. NCF is talking about, not the marks of the report card, not the grade, but what competencies the child is acquiring. That is the key thing that is to be looked out for. So NCF guidelines says the holistic progress card aligns with the National Curriculum Framework and incorporates the recommended competencies for each grade. Now, the NCF has given the competencies, grade-wise. If it's not broken down, in fact, for grades, but for a particular block, I would say this 5 + 3 + 3 + 4, the foundation stage, the preparatory stage, and the middle stage, and the secondary stage. So these stages, the NCF has given the competencies that are to be acquired in these particular stages. Then the NCF is also talking about the Panchakosha, which is the 5 sheets that we spoke about in my last session, where it starts with the Annamaya Kosha, which is the physical body, then Pranamaya Kosha, which is the energy of the body, and then the Manomaya Kosha, the emotional side of the child, then the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is the intellect of the child, and finally the Anandamaya Kosha, which is the blissfulness of the child, because ultimately the target is to achieve happiness in whatever we do. So Anandamaya Kosha is the final output of any educational objective. Whatever educational goals are there, objectives are there, that has to be met only with the achievement of happiness. So the NCF talks about that happiness is the ultimate goal of any education, and there are educational objectives or educational goals which are boiled down to curricular goals. The curricular goals in turn is boiled down to competencies, and competencies cannot be acquired in one classroom session. It requires a few sessions to acquire a particular competency. So the competencies are further broken down into learning outcomes. Now, when we talk about these things, educational objective is a pretty vast thing which cannot be put on the report card. It will be meaningless to put educational objectives in the report card. It is for the curriculum designers, for the teachers, the school heads to understand, even the parents to understand what is the educational objective. Then the curricular goals, again, there are different goals of the curriculum, which again cannot be utilized in terms of framing a report card. Then comes the option of either choosing the competencies or the learning outcomes. Now, as you know, the competencies are limited in number, and the competencies are further divided into learning outcomes. So the choice now is in the hands of the school, whether you want to put the learning outcomes on the report card or you want to put the competencies. Now, as far as my school is concerned, I have chosen the competencies because associated with the particular competency is many learning outcomes which the teacher can maintain at his or her level. It may not be brought down into a report card, especially when I'm talking about the physical report card, because physical report card is something that we are talking about today. CBSE has suggested in their documents that this report card can be best done with artificial intelligence in place. AI designed report card is something that is strongly recommended, but 25,000 plus CBSE schools in the country, getting an AI report card is not a one day matter. It's going to take a lot of time to have an AI designed report card, because schools are not even having a digital infrastructure right now. Many schools are like that. So the option is now very simple, that we need to have something that is physical, on paper, on card, and not on AI. Though if schools can afford it and they can do it, it's wonderful. If they can do something designed on artificial intelligence, that's supposed to be a digital format, nothing like that, because you can get a whole lot of information on AI. But then the choice is pretty restricted for schools which are located in rural parts of the country, budget schools. They do not have the budget to have an AI generated report card. For them, a pen and paper report card is something that they are supposed to use for the time being. Now, this was what I was talking about, integrating competencies. So in my report card, I will be integrating competencies, and these competencies are not something that I have designed on my own. These are taken directly from the NCF. So any competency that you see on the report card is taken from NCF. But again, NCF has given a list of competencies. Now, the choice is very simple now in the hand of the school, that what are the competencies that as a school leader, as a school head, or as a teacher, you are looking for. It's not a hard and fast rule that the competencies that I have used, you have to use the same ones. You can choose, pick and choose from the list that has exhaustively been provided by the NCF. Now, we have all heard about this. The self-assessment, the parent assessment, and the peer assessment is a part of the holistic report card. And every school have designed their own way how to go for self-assessment and parent assessment and peer assessment. I will be showing my take on that, what I have done. And I'm pretty sure that many of you will like the concept that I've used, because here I have not only stuck to what NEP or NCF is talking about, I have tried to get into the skin of the teachers, the skin of the educators, and the skin of the parents to understand, what are the things that they are looking for in a child. And if these assessments can drive those, values, competencies, skills, behavioral objectives of a child, then it will be more meaningful. So when we are going for self-assessment or parent assessment or peer assessment, we need to keep in focus that what exactly we are looking for in the child. Then, of course, Bloom's cognitive domain is spoken about widely. the remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, but less is spoken about the affective domain and the psychomotor domain of the Bloom's taxonomy. So what I've done over here is we cannot have a holistic progress card without the psychomotor domain and affective domain brought into the picture. So here in this report card, we will have a reflection of the affective and psychomotor domain along with the cognitive domain, which is of course present in every school right now. A progressive school uses the Bloom's taxonomy, but how to use the affective domain and psychomotor domain of Bloom's taxonomy in the report card, I have tried to do that as well. Incorporation of health and physical education, art education, and value system. These are the things that I have not kept as a theory in my report card. What I've done over here is I've tried to incorporate that in these assessments that I've talked about. Even the self-assessment, when it is going on, the child will be made to think about the value system, the art and aesthetic sense of the child will be spoken about, contemplated. And of course, the health and physical education part of the child will also be highlighted in the report card. Then, I always feel like a report is very, very, incomplete without giving a way forward. What needs to be done next? For example, if you go to a doctor, you have a blood test report, and you find that your vitamin level is low, or your red blood cell count is low, or hemoglobin is low. That's not the end of it, right? You just cannot give a report that your HB is 9 gram% and you get over with it. So if it's 9 gram%, what needs to be done? Or if it's healthy, what type of lifestyle you should maintain? So there should be a way forward. So in this report card, when we're talking about the children, we need to give them a very clear idea that with all the 360-degree view of you as a human being, as a person, what type of career goals are suitable for you. Because we are not talking about the marks right now. We are talking about you, the child, as a whole. A 360-degree view of you we have right now in front of us. And based on that view, can you suggest, or can the school suggest something for the child which will be more meaningful for the child, And of course, the achievements of the child is to be highlighted, because that's what makes the child confident and understand that, yes, I have it in me. Because making a child confident is something that is very, very important for a school. So an inside look at the report cards. I'll take an inside look very soon when I present my report card. I would advise a graphic layout to be used, which will be pictorial, but not too clumsy. When you make the report card very clumsy, it becomes very, congested, and data, no one, loves to watch data which is meaningless. So you need to present data in a meaningful way, something that can be interpreted easily by the child, easily by the parents, even if the parent is a farmer, or even if the parent is an auto rickshaw puller. They need to understand the report card. And unless that happens, the 360-degree report card will not be a success. Because without the involvement of the parents, without the involvement of the friends and the peer group, without the involvement of all the teachers of the school, and anyone who looks at the report card, without that view that everyone understands that what this report card is all about, the report card will remain incomplete, and it will remain a very theoretical thing, which is not practically implementable. The power of constructive feedback, it's discussed widely in different educational forums. I did not highlight it separately, but again, positive reinforcement goes miles. Identifying challenges and goal setting is also a part of the holistic report card. Communication is the key. Before the Diwali vacation, our school closed for the Diwali vacation. I had sessions in my school with the parents. I called two classes, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, and like that. All these parents came, and I presented the same report card in front of them, explained what it is all about, explained what they are supposed to look into a report card, how they're supposed to look into it, how the mark system is supposed to go away. And by the end of the meeting, I felt pretty satisfied that yes, now we can roll out the holistic report card, because now the parents will not look for marks. The moment this report card is opened, the parents have a tendency of looking at the marks, because that is what they have been doing for years. Their parents have done the same. They have been doing it for the same way. So the tendency is very clear. Open the report card and check the marks. Even if something else is written, hardly they look at it. Now, there has to be a shift of this way of looking at the report card. And for that, sensitization of the parent is very important. So without conducting a meeting with the parents, without communicating with the parents, if you roll out the report card, it's bound to bounce back, right? So teacher-student dialogue, teacher-parent collaboration, and implementing feedback. Learn how students utilize the feedback to improve their performance. You have to understand, once you've written something on the report card, how the child takes it, how the child accepts it. We at times write in the report card, can do better, this and that, and the child, it's meaningless for the child. The child hardly remembers what was written. So we have to do something. We have to write, even if a single line is written on the report card, it should have a meaning for the child. He should be able to take it forward. So that is what is an integral part of the report card. Then a transformative tool for growth. So this report card should be boosting the motivation, guiding academic choices, because now CBSE and the NEP is talking about giving academic choices to the children. There are so many subjects, the streams have been dissolved. So what type of subject can I choose? What are my strong points? What are the things that I do not like? Many times children even do not think about it. Now, a report card is something that should make the child think. Looking at the report card and not thinking is not a 360-degree report card. So report cards should be something that will make the child think, will make the teacher think, make the parent think, make the friends think, everyone should look at it and think. Think what? Think what is the next step, right? So then the report card will have some meaning. So the bigger picture is understanding report cards in the context of holistic education system, where students' growth and well-rounded development take the center stage. So without everyone accepting and acknowledging that holistic education is the need of the hour, we cannot be driven by academic score or marks only, then only this report card is supposed to be unveiled. Otherwise, this report card is better under the covers, because if you're looking at the marks and trying to roll out a 360-degree progress card, it will just increase the workload of the teachers, increase the cost of printing the report card, and will have no objective achieved. So very simply, unless and until everyone, starting from the child, the teacher, the parent, understands and accepts that we are talking about a holistic education system, where not only the cognitive growth of the child is being spoken about, the 5 koshas that NCF is talking about, we need to pay attention on all of these koshas and domains, then only this report card will be of some sense. So the benefits, why school should be adopting the holistic progress card: it's a student-centric assessment, improved parent-teacher communication, and encourages holistic development. These are the few key points. There are multiple benefits of it, but these are the 3 major points to make the report card student-centric. So far, it has been something that the students do not feel like showing it to anyone, because they feel like hiding the report cards. I'm pretty sure if any one of you have your report cards of your school days, you don't show it to your children unless and until you have done something exceptionally nice on those report cards. So it's under the cover, right? So this is what the report card is supposed to do. It should be student-centric, something that the student should be proud of holding and showing it to others, looking at it frequently, thinking and planning the way forward. Of course, the challenges are there. The implementation of the holistic progress card can pose several challenges, such as the lack of adequate infrastructure and training. Now, this is something very important. The principal needs to first train the teachers how to fill in the report card. If the report card is not filled in properly, it's a total boomerang, right? Then resistance to change and difficulty in measuring non-academic domains. So people will resist change. Marks kaha gaya? Where is the marks? Your report card is there, but where is the score of my child? So they are bound to ask for the scores, because they have been hardwired like that. And of course, how to measure the non-academic domains. The school must be prepared to address these challenges and provide support to faculty and staff. So there has to be a helpline. There has to be a lifeline for the teachers who are filling up this holistic progress card for the first time, and hand-holding has to be done. And for that, the school leaders, the coordinators, they are supposed to be, playing their roles meticulously. So the conclusion and the key takeaways: assessing what matters. The holistic progress card talks about assess only what matters. Something that does not matter, do not assess it. Adapting to change. The implementation of the card requires a shift of mindset and willingness to adopt new methodologies. So methodology in terms of pedagogy, methodology in terms of assessment, methodology in terms of progress card and how to look at the progress card, and then what to do with that report. And collaboration is the key. So this really won't work out without everyone coming in and working together. The success of the card hinges on the collaboration between teachers, parents, and students. So this was the presentation part that I was talking about. And now I will show you what exactly I've thought about the 80 marks assessment and how I'm going to try to modify it a little bit to suit the need, right? Again, it's a suggestion. It's something that, just give me a moment, let me open that PPT and then I'll be sharing it with you. Yeah. Just 2 minutes. All right, now I'll be sharing with you how the assessment system is going to be like. Again, this is my view of things. It's not published by CBSE anywhere, and no guidelines have been given on the CBSE portal about it. But what I'm trying to do for my school is, because I felt after the COVID, there are a few problems that every school is facing. Let me just go into the sharing mode. Slideshow from beginning. Yeah. So I think everyone will agree with me, the challenges that we are facing post-COVID. The first challenge is the children are, they've forgotten to pay attention in the class. The lockdown have taught them, they've practiced for 2 years, that the teacher will keep speaking and I'll not listen. I'll do something else. So that's a good practice for 2 years, and that is reflecting now in the classrooms as well. When the teacher is talking, the children are focusing somewhere else. The second thing is, they have a sense of casual approach has come in. So frequent absenteeism is another challenge that is being seen in different schools. Children are not being present. They're coming and appearing for certain exams at times, and they've taken everything very casually. The next thing is, the daily revision, I would say, the daily study, that has in some way taken a backstage. So children are now not connected with their books or study on a regular basis. And I'm not talking about those few students who are academically driven. I'm talking about a huge population of students who are lagging behind, and they are simply not studying because of one thing. That thing is because the scores are going down in the examinations. That's the first thing. And why the score is going down? Because of the learning gap. The learning gap that existed during COVID is now showing its effect. So now the question is, do we really stick to 20 marks internal assessment and 80 marks paper, just like the board exam, or we do something differently? Now, for my school, I've thought of doing something differently, and this is what I have decided. So the path to success, achieving high marks, is not, again, we are not marks driven, but again, this can make the scores of the child better. How? So what we are planning right now is, we are planning to conduct an 80 marks test in 2 terms, term 1 and term 2. And this is not for class 10th, because class 10th and 9th will have the pre-midterm, the midterm, and the post-midterm as suggested by CBSE. I'm talking about grade 1 to 8. Now, again, there is a very key point over here. The NCF suggests that there should be no exam in the preparatory stage and the foundation stage. So if you can see, this exam starts from grade 3. So 3, 5, 8, and 10. Even the SAFL exams are going to be conducted for these grades. But then immediately shift to that mode is difficult, because parents of students who are studying in grade 1 and 2, they will also ask for the report card. They will also ask for assessment. If we are not doing it, somewhere the school will miss out, because others are not going to stop it immediately. So other schools' assessment is going on. You cannot stop the assessment. So what we can do right now is this 80 marks test assessment in 2 terms, the weightage will be only 40 marks. So straight away divide it by 2 and bring it down to 40. The second thing is have some interactive quiz in the class. So we have decided we will have, in a particular term, at least 3 quizzes. And these quizzes will be 15 marks quizzes. And these quizzes will be something that the teacher will read out and the child will write down in the answer script, or the teacher will put on the digital board or the blackboard or whiteboard, and the children are supposed to write down the answers. So 3 quizzes of at least 15 marks, and the average will be counted. And here, if the child misses one quiz, it will still be divided by 3, and the child needs to be present in all the 3 quizzes to get the average high. So here we are driving the attendance of the child as well, and the quizzes can be announced or not announced at times. It can be a surprise quiz, it can be an announced quiz. That depends on the school and the teacher again. And the weightage will be 15 marks. Now, the third thing is continuous assessment for the child on a regular basis. The child is coming to the school. We are talking about in competency-based education and assessment, give choice to the child. When we are talking about the product, the report card, we have to also give choice in terms of the process and the content. So giving a choice to the child is a very, very key factor of competency-based education and competency-based assessment. So here we will give choices. So 15 marks will be a choice, the how the child wants to demonstrate his or her skill or the learning. So it can be a seminar, it can be a presentation, it can be a group discussion, it can be simple questions that the child answers in the class. The teacher is supposed to carry a tabulation sheet or a mark sheet in the class, where each time a child answers, the teacher puts a score over there. So the meaningful interaction in the class happens. Everyone pays attention, right? And it can even have an internship opportunity, because we are talking about now making the children more skillful. We are talking about an India where we have to make the children job ready. So when we are talking about certain topics, internship opportunities by the school is supposed to be explored. Local companies, local shops, local hospitals, whatever, any business organization, the child can go and do an internship over there and learn hands-on about a particular concept, about a particular job, and that will also carry marks. So this contains 15 marks. So 80 boiled down to 40, 15 marks quiz, 15 marks of continuous assessment, including seminars and internship. And 10 marks, the remaining 10 marks is at least 2 pen paper tests of 20 to 30 marks, which will be boiled down to 10 marks. And this pen paper test again will be conducted, at time one may be announced, one may be a surprise test. So every time the child needs to be aware that anytime I can be assessed. So when we talk about assessment without that ceremonial arrangement, that is where the fear of assessment will go away. Every day I am being assessed. Every day is an assessment. When that happens, when that will be a real check of the competency, and that is where the fear of assessment will go away. So the 80 marks can be divided into 40, 15, 15, 10, and the 20 marks internal assessment can be maintained with the same thing, the pen paper test, the portfolio, the subject enrichment, and whatever CBSE suggests. So this is how I thought of designing the assessment, because again, when you're talking about a report card and the assessment is not done properly, so if the process is not right, what will you do with the product? The holistic report card is there, but the examination is not, or assessment is not holistic. Then it's no meaning, right? So your education, the content delivery should be holistic, the process should be holistic, and then the report card should be holistic. Then it will be a chain that will be completed. So it will talk about academic success, achieving excellence, and celebrating accomplishments. So staying committed to the goal is very important, and embrace the path to success. Dedicate, I'm talking this with the students, dedicate yourself to continuous improvement and watch your academic achievements soar. Your hard work will pave the way for a brighter future. Now here I have put something like this because Sachin Tendulkar writing an exam, it's an artificial intelligent generated image, you can understand that. But what I'm trying to drive with images like this is, you can be very good in sports, but try your hand in the assessment. You can be very good in examination or studies or academics, try your hand in sport. So explore yourself, that is the key. So now the time has come now to share with you how the progress card will look like. Now, when I'm talking about the progress card, how it will look like, again, let me just close this and open up a progress card. So I'll close this for you. And I'll I'll rather share the screen. That will be better, I think. Yes. All right. I think now my screen is visible to everyone. And you can see that these are the report cards, that I have designed class-wise. So for every class, the report card is going to be different. Now here you can talk about, now what I've thought about these things, I'll tell you, the printing cost. The moment we were printing the report cards and we were doing in bulk, 1,000 report cards printed together, the cost is definitely low. But can we do something with a holistic progress card where we print a report card for the entire school? No, it's not possible. Because where we are talking about this holistic progress card, we cannot print one single report card for the entire school, or even for 2-3 classes together. Yes, for a particular level we can do it: foundation stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and secondary stage. But what I decided after a lot of experimentation, trying out permutation and combination, is having a separate report card for each of the classes. Yes, the printing cost is going to go high up a little bit, but then we have to understand that very clearly why it is going high up, because the usefulness of the report card will be much beyond the cost. And what we can do is compromise a little bit with the paper quality maybe. So that way you can do the cost cutting. And in this report card, what I've also done is few pages I have kept common. So it's not the entire report card that needs to be printed separately for each grade. It's only few pages that you can keep common, and few pages are different. So let me check, so 1 to grade 9. I will not be able to show you all the report cards, but let me start with, maybe we'll take one class 1 report card, class 5 report card, and class 9 report card, and show you in a flash, right? So let's start with class 1. Visible? All right. So again, this is where your school name will come in, and holistic progress card, academic session, and here the picture of the child will be pasted, and a 360-degree view of, let's say, Rohit, a 360-degree view of Namrata. This is where the name of the child will come in, and a note for the parents. A child should not be judged only by his or her academic performance. Love the child for what he or she is, not for how much he or she scores. So this is almost like a caution line for the parents. Before you open the report card, remember this. Then, of course, the basic things of the child: name, class, section, house, admission number, roll number, date of birth, mother's name, father's name, mobile number of mother and father. If you want, you can put the blood group also, but I felt blood group is not required in a report card, but it's your choice. The next is, as you can say, this is the foundational stage, grade 1 and 2. In foundation stage, the nursery, KG1 and KG2, we have a separate report card for that. And that's a different format altogether. We have been using it since 2011. So I have not made much change in that, because in that report card, it was already very holistic. It talked about, the fine motor skill, the gross motor skills, the basic skill the child is supposed to learn in the pre-primary stage. Now, all about me. This is where the child is contemplating. My favorite subject. The child thinks now, what is my favorite subject? Unless you ask questions, the child will not think. So we have to make the child think. So this page and many other pages that I'm going to show, you will understand that we are making the child, parent, and the friends think. So what is my favorite subject? And when the child is filling it up, the teacher can ask also, why is it favorite? So I told you, communication is the key for the holistic progress card. It's not like a report that you publish and it's pasted on the wall and everyone will read and understand. It's not like that. You have to discuss. You have to sit with the report card and talk with the child. So why is that? You're talking about maths being your favorite subject. Why? Now, when we ask that why, the child logically tries to explain why. So understand the intellectual, the logical development of the child that happens with a simple question. Now, my best friend, the child, the social aspect of the child is, again, the child is made to think that, yes, do I really have a best friend? Or is there someone whom I like more than others? My favorite game, and now again, before I go into, I'm pretty sure that many of you will be thinking that how a grade 1 child is going to fill it up. Now here, when I'm talking about filling it up, NCF is again talking about 3-4 stages where the teacher shows and the child does it with the guidance of the teacher. Then the child does it, the teacher observes. And third, the child does it on its own. So here, it will be under the guidance of the teacher that this report card will be filled up by the child, right? Or the parents can also guide. So the parent and teacher comes together to help the child understand himself or herself. My favorite game or sport, my favorite food, my favorite place, my hobby. Now, at the very early stage, we are trying to tell the child there should be something like a hobby so that the child understands how to meaningfully spend the time that is called a free time. So when the free time is there, they should be aware that it's not for watching reels. It's not for just going to the social media and watching some WhatsApp or Facebook. I'm not talking about grade 1 only, but others also. We have to introduce the concept of hobby to the children, which I feel is soon dying down. When we talk about hobbies, people talk about traveling, making friends, but some hobby that is going to require some patience, these hobbies are missed out. My favorite activity, singing, dancing. So here will be the key for the teacher, that what the child loves. So when the child is in an off mood, the teacher will know that what needs to be done to bring up the child and make him or her lively. The child loves to dance. Yes, let's have some dance. Let's have some fun. So that can happen in the classrooms. Languages, I know. We all know that till the age of 7, children are linguistic geniuses. They can pick up any language and as many languages as they can. I've seen children without any formal coaching picking up around 20 languages, Indian and foreign languages, just because the father is working in a multinational and he asked his friends or colleagues to come over and speak in the same language with his child. So different people came and spoke in their language, and the child picked up 20 languages by the time he was in class 1. So languages I know. So here again, the focus on NEP and NCF on multilingualism, we are promoting that how many languages you know. And then we have to understand that NCERT also has a portal where 22 Indian languages are given for the child to learn. So NCERT portal of languages, you can search it on the Google and you will get that. My ambition, my goal. It's again very important. You're asking a grade 1 child what you want to be when you grow up. Because child has to be aware that moment I am growing up or when I'm growing up, it's a journey. I should have a goal. Swami Vivekananda was once asked when he was, probably not even in school, that what you want to be when you grow up. And that was asked by his friends that they were discussing what we want to be. And Swami Vivekananda said that I want to be a chariot driver, Baggiwala. And his friends made fun of him. Hey, you want to be a chariot driver? Your father is a lawyer. And what you're talking about? He went back to his mother and told about the whole thing, that my friends are making fun of me because I told that I want to be a Baggiwala. I want to be a chariot puller. His mother said, come with me, I'll show you something. Goes to the wall of the room, points out at the calendar where the picture of Sri Krishna delivering the Gita to Arjuna is pasted, and said that, if you want to be a chariot puller, be a chariot puller like him. Now, we all know that Swami Vivekananda did not become a chariot puller when he grew up. But then early ambition can be of a truck driver, it can be of a, of a cleaner, it can be of anything. Rickshaw puller, auto rickshaw puller, doctor, engineer. It will change when he grows up. But when the child is having an aim in the initial age years, it will matter the most. They should be knowing that I should have an aim or a target. It will change. Let it change. But what I want to be now. Then my strengths. Here, a discussion between a teacher, the child, and the parent will help the child understand what are the strengths of the child and the areas of improvement and how I describe myself. The child is not just a name. I'm just not a name, just not a body. So how I describe myself. So here, the seed for deeper thought about the existence of me as a holistic human being will be sown. So when the seed is planted, that seed has to be that what I am. I'm just not a name. I'm just not a body. I'm something beyond that. So that goes in early in the mind of the child, and rest of the years, it will be developed. Next comes the cognitive domain. Now, in this cognitive domain, you see I have made pages as per subjects. And these are the competencies that I have picked up from NCF and the Nipun document. And I have tried to restrict it, to around 10 competencies, because we are, in the very beginning stage of the holistic progress card. Having 20 competencies will make the job very difficult for the teacher. Make it around 9 to 10. Even if you want to have lesser number of competencies, no problem. But have this, because this is what the NCF is talking about. And then we are talking about the 4 levels that NCF talked about: the beginner, the progressive, the proficient, and the advanced. Now, what we have done here is, instead of having 4 different columns, we have included proficient and advanced together, because very few children will be advanced level, 10% will be proficient, and around 10 to 15% may be beginner. The average is, of course, the progressive. So if the child is really advanced, we can, instead of putting a tick mark over here, we can write advanced. So that will suggest if the child is proficient or advanced, or we can write PROF or AADV. So this is for term 1 and this is for term 2. And competencies like listens to and appreciates simple songs, rhymes, and poems, understands oral instructions for a complex task and gives clear oral instruction for the same to others. Now, this is not something that we have developed, already done by NCF. Pick and paste, choose and paste it in the thing. I'll not go through each one of these. If you want the copy of it, I'll definitely share with you. As I said, send me a mail. I'll leave my mail ID or my WhatsApp number. I'll definitely share all these competencies of different classes with you. The only key is, just as it's copyrighted, mention our name. That's it. We don't need to have, we are not demanding any money or something like that from you. It will be free of cost. Only acknowledging that where you have taken from is good enough. Now, after these competencies are being filled up, term 1 and term 2 separately in 2 different columns, it can be a tick, and proficient, advanced, P or A, and then it will be pretty easily filled up. The teacher has to remember every child, understand the competency, and fill it up. Then, teacher's assessment. Now, in this report card, every subject teacher will get a chance to write his or her view of the child, because every time otherwise the class teacher writes on the report card. The subject teacher does not get the chance to write something. So a child may be different in the eyes of the class teacher and something entirely different in the eyes of the subject teacher. So the subject teacher will put the note over here, and it will start with appreciation. Appreciation is the key, because a progress card is supposed to show progress. If a progress card is not showing the progress the child has made over years, then we have no right to conduct assessment or run a school. We are supposed to show the progress to the child. And if we are not able to bring in a little bit of progress in the child, something that we can appreciate, it's not the problem with the child, it's the problem with us. So here the teacher needs to find out something that can be appreciated. In fact, I was watching this video of Mahatre. In this video, he was talking about a story that how a teacher had a different opinion about a child in her class. And then by going through the cumulative report cards, discovered that after the child's mother passed away, the child started deteriorating in the academics, and paid special attention to the child. And then onwards, the child started improving. So appreciation is something, acknowledgement is something that every child wants. So here the teacher will write his or her lines on appreciation. The next thing is advise. Now, when we are talking about advice, here the teacher will put objective advices, not what here may improve, can do better. All these terms are vague terms. Something that needs to be done in a very concrete way based on the competencies that we are talking about. So here the teacher will suggest certain activities, certain way forward, certain drills that the child can do, and advise accordingly. Now, after this has been done, the student will make his or her own action plan, because the child now needs to write down what the teacher has told me. These are my competencies, where I am right now, and what I should be doing. So based on all these discoveries and the teacher's appreciation and the advice, the student will make a 2-liner plan that what I am going to do now onwards. So when that is done, maybe line 1 you can use for the term 1, line 2 for the next term, or whatever way the child wants. So here the child puts his or her thoughts. So here we are giving the child an expression even on the report card. Even when the competencies are being tested, it's not unidirectional. Here, if the teacher has to say something, the child can also say something. So here we are putting the role of the child in the format. Now, again, in Maharashtra, it's Marathi. In Kerala, it can be Malayalam and so on. So this is again the second language and the same format. So I'm not going to read out each and every competency, because you can understand that these competencies are taken from NCF, and you can lift it up as well. So competencies like these things you can read a little bit if you want. स्वयं सरल गीत और कविताएं बनाते हैं, हिंदी में इस तरह का रह सकता है. So 3 languages. Mathematics observes and understands different categories of objects and relationships between them. So beginner, progressive, advanced. Now again, you have to remember that when you're marking this beginner, progressive, and advanced, there has to be a rubric. And this rubric is also being spoken about in the NCF. So when we are talking about observes and understands different categories of objects and relationships between them, there has to be 4 distinct levels. That yes, the child recognizes the objects, can count the numbers, can find out the colors. Something more than that, identifies it, identifies the use of it, derives relationship with other objects. So these type of rubrics have to be designed at the school level, and this is the job of the curricular team. As per the CBSE guidelines, every school should have a curricular team, curriculum development team, where they're supposed to bring in these things together. Many schools have these resource centers, so they can, the leaders, the HODs can put their brains together and develop these rubrics. And these rubrics is not only to help the holistic progress card, these rubrics are going to help your filling up of the SQAF as well. The School Quality Assessment and Assurance Framework also talks about the documentation. So rubrics over here will be of multi-use. It can be used in the SQAF, it can be used in the report card, but most importantly, it will aid the development of the child. So again, teachers' appreciation advice, students' plan. Environmental studies, again, same way we are going in. Then computer science. Physical education also has rubrics or competencies. Moves purposefully your body to a beat, rhythm, or music. Demonstrates and describes some critical features of movement form, like techniques of catching, throwing, kicking, hitting the ball, or transferring the body weight from lifting the object safely. So all these things can be put in as competencies the child is developing and what level the child is. And again, teachers, the physical education teacher will comment over here, and the child is going to write his or her view of this. Now, I have added a page to satisfy the parents, but this should be soon withdrawn. In a transition stage, when a new thing is being introduced, do not immediately remove something that has been going for quite a long period of time. So marks is something that the parents have been looking at. If we remove the marks straight away, the assessment system itself will drop down. Somewhere exam to hota nahi hai, or exams ka marks to count nahi hota hai. So that type of thought will come into the mind, and they will stop studying. So here, unless and until everyone gets into the frame of holistic education and competency-based assessment, we are going to maintain this page where we are going to keep the scores. So the score page comes much later on, and this is where the score page is like. And just like a normal report card, we have added 1 page only to not only completely withdraw the mark system, but undermine the value of the marks by putting it only on 1 page, right? And this is where the score can be seen after the parent looks at the other points of the report card. Now comes the Bloom's psychomotor domain. And in the psychomotor domain, I've used the pyramid of Bloom's, where again in term 1 and term 2, it is divided. And it starts with imitation, where the child learns by watching and imitating actions. Then comes manipulation, actions performed through memorization or following directions. Third comes precision, where execute skills independent of help. Articulation, add creativity to the skill. And naturalization, that is unconscious mastery of skill. Now here it's not only about sports, Talk about writing the alphabet A. When we talk about writing the alphabet A, first is imitation. Is the child able to imitate what the teacher is writing on the board? Next comes manipulation. Actions performed through memorization. Now the A is not on the board. The teacher tells write A. Is the child able to write the A? That's second stage. Third stage, execute skill independent of help. Now the child can write A even without help. The previous stage, a little help might be needed. Third one is no help needed. Now add creativity to the skill. Here the child is not writing, slanting line and parallel line or something like that. The child is framing his or her own A artistically. This is what I am framing. So that A is the creativity the child is adding. So there is articulation, writing a B in an artistic way, in his or her own way, articulation. And then, of course, naturalization. The child is woken up in the middle of the night, asked to write A, the child will still write A. So that should be the stage that we are targeting, for any skill. It's not only about sports, but any educational skill or competency that we are talking about. From imitation to naturalization is the target. So here, the teacher may put in, certain activities, name of certain activities over here that, for example, writing of the alphabet, counting of numbers, writing of the numbers, the world around us, topics like this, and what the child is right now, and what the child is in term 2. Simple tick marks, right? Next, Bloom's affective domain. This is the value system. This is the aesthetic sense of the child that we're talking about. And just under the physical thing, the psychomotor domain, we have also put in height, weight, and BMI. Now, here, the child's progress. Is the child growing tall? Is the child putting on weight? Is the weight good enough? The BMI of the child is calculated over here. Simple Excel formula will help the school to calculate the BMI and put it over here, and making the parent understand what is a healthy BMI. So the journey for an healthy individual starts here. The report card will make the child aware that, or the parent aware that, yes, I have to keep a particular BMI as a healthy quotient. Now, Bloom's affective domain. Affective domain again starts with receiving and attending. So willing to pay attention, open to experience. So if the child is willing to pay attention, open to listening to something, that's level 1. Number 2 is responding, willing to participate. Now the child is participating in what the child is hearing. So actively participating in classroom discussion. Some children are not even paying attention in the class, not listening. So they are not even in the receiving stage, or maybe in the receiving stage. Then comes responding to it. Third comes valuing. Develop the topic and take it to the next level. Attaches values to the topic, attaches value to the topic. Yes, percentage. So when we talk about percentage, what value can we attach? We can attach that, the value of, let's say, what percentage of profit is being made by a businessman by following ethical practices. So when we know that we're talking about percentage, it's not about achieving the percentage hike by unethical practices. So here, the value system is attached with something that the child is studying. Next is organizing. Can organize and prioritize values. Now, when there is a conflict of values, a child, a friend of the child is cheating in the class or in examination, and the child sees it. Now, what to do? Report to the teacher because honesty and ethical practice is a value, or be a faithful friend and not tell the friend's name. So here is a conflict of value system now. Now, what the child does in such situation, can he prioritize his or her value system? That's organizing. And finally, characterizing, able to integrate beliefs, thoughts, and attitudes, internalize values, and behave in accordance. Let the value system control the behavior. Here, the entire behavior of the child will be controlled by the value system, starting from the receiving to the characterizing phase. And that is why the institutional stamp is marked on the child, that this child is from this school, so he has this value system. Because that is what the school is supposed to do, develop a sound value system in the child that will be reflected in the behavior of the child in wherever the child goes. So this type of evaluation can be done over here again with the help of simple tick mark. Now put over here tick marks. There can be rubrics behind this which the teacher can maintain, but may not be reflected on the report card to make it pretty concise. So everything that I'm talking about as a tick mark can be a colossal work that can be maintained at the background. But how much you're supposed to maintain, that can be chosen judiciously by the school head and the teachers. No one can impose you have to maintain these documents. It has to be a 50-page document. You maintain your way. But only thing is, there has to be a system. There has to be a rubric. So whatever way you design, that's up to you, your creativity. Then visual and performing. Again, when we're talking about the Bloom's affective domain, we can even write over here, what are the things that we have considered when we have marked these things or graded these things? Have we considered the value system of the child? Have we considered the aesthetic sense of art in the child, or the sense of music in the child? So all these things can be put in simple words over here for anyone to understand that based on what observations this has been done. And visual and performing arts, art education grade can be put over here. And as far as discipline column is concerned, we can put over here as well. The discipline I put over here because it's directly related to the value system of the child. As soon as the value system of the child is developed, the child is disciplined. Discipline is a very vague term, but we need to make children understand, parents understand, and teachers understand what is discipline, what is expected, what is a good value and what is not, universally accepted values. So these things have to be explained, and then we can tell them that they are disciplined or indisciplined. Making a child sit quietly in a class is not discipline. Discipline is something that the child has a value system, can prioritize value system, and the value system is so deeply embedded in the child that even when someone is not observing, the child behaves in that manner. Next comes the favorite part, self-assessment. Now, the child is supposed to rate, and I've put smileys over here, just like a rating scale that you get after a customer care service. And on a grade of 5, scale of 5, where 1 is strongly disagree and 5 is strongly agree. So here I have used affirmations. Now, what does affirmations do? Affirmations very subtly put things in your subconscious brain. We know very well now that our conscious brain is only, 1/10 of the entire brain. Conscious brain is only 1/10. Rest of the 9/10 is your subconscious brain, which is not in our control, but the subconscious brain is developed by whatever things that we see, observe, interact with, read. So exposures that we get and the inherent qualities that we have, that builds our subconscious brain. So affirmations are something that is very, very important for children in early years, because when you make affirmations or the child repeat affirmations, it slowly gets driven into the subconscious brain, and without even the teacher or the child realizing, the values are driven so deep inside that the child starts practicing it. So let's see what are the affirmations I'm talking about. I complete what I start. Now, when the child ticks over here, let's assume the child never completes what he starts and he still ticks the 5. Let it be. Let it be. Let the child think, yes, I have marked myself that. And that is where self-assessment comes into play. The SQUAF document is very clearly telling when the school is assessing themselves, don't try to guide the school that this is not the right one, this is the right one for you. Let the child school assess that this is where I am. But then when the school assesses that here it is what I am right now, I've graded myself 5, they will try to go into that grade 5 level, because everyone tries to play as per their reputation. So when I create my own reputation in my mind that I am a grade 5, I complete what I start, I always complete what I start, I tell it in every grade that I'm in while filling up the report card, it goes deep in my mind, and I will now try to complete what I start. The next is, I am responsible for creating what I want. I do what is needed. Now here, I'm responsible for creating what I want. I'm not going to depend on others. I'm not going to blame others. I do what is needed. So this is again a second affirmation. Third, I am respectful to my parents, teachers, all elders, friends, and all genders. Here, we are talking about all genders. The seed of, gender equity, the respect for all genders have to be put over here in the child's brain. So teachers, elders, parents, everyone. So here again, the child will mark and grade himself. And each time the child does it, the child is bound to think, do I do it? And even if they fake it, it's said that fake it to make it. Even if you fake it sometimes, you will definitely make it one day. Even the dacoit, Ratnakar, he repeated Mara, 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 Mara and became Ram, 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 Ram. So fake it. Let the child fake it. If he tells 100 times that, yes, I'm like that, he will become like that. Next is, I take care of my own school and public property. So here I've seen children going into the washroom and breaking the wash basins, breaking the urinal pots. Why? Because they have never been told that, no, this is what they're not supposed to do or how to handle public property. So I take care of my own school and public property. The child leaves behind the lunchbox every time in the school, forgets his own things. So here again, make the child think, contemplate. I am always truthful. I can speak English, Marathi, Hindi, and all other languages. The child puts over here the different languages the child can speak. So here again, the focus on multilingualism will improve. I am courageous in all situations. Now, we have been in Indian society making the child afraid. If you do something, I'll lock you in a dark room. You do something, I'll give you a tight slap. All these things have been, sort of an Indian culture that people scare their children to make them disciplined. And that is where the child learns to be afraid. The child becomes fearful. And when we have fear, we cannot do something great in life. So the fearlessness has to be driven into the child. Fearlessness with responsibility. So I'm courageous in all situations. I see great qualities in others and learn from them. Now here, emulating what are the good qualities in others, how to learn from that. I reach for perfection. I learn from each step. So each step is important. So I reach for perfection. Now, a grade 1 child, I'm talking about grade 1. These things are common in most of the grades, but I'm talking about grade 1. And these pages are common, as I said. The competency pages are different, but these pages are same. So this has to be discussed with the child and filled up in lower classes. And as the child goes higher up and up, they will do it on their own. Number 10, I'm able to make proper decisions which are good for me and all. Number 11, I can adjust with all types of people and situations. I include everyone. So this is about including. This is about, anti-bullying. Number 12, I spend my time reading, writing, and useful activities, exercise, sports, hobbies, and meditation, instead of wasting time on internet or social media. So here, again, we're putting in the mind of the child that you're not supposed to waste our time on the internet or social media. Do something like reading, writing, useful activities like exercise, sports, hobbies. So here the child understands, and very clearly the brain is oriented that way, that these are good activities and these are not. I have set my career goals and decide what I want to be. So the child has already filled up in the page 1 that what I want to be. So the child will put over here. I think about my action and decision for at least 10 minutes a day. Child is taught from the grade 1. Know what you're supposed to do. 10 minutes, खुद के बारे में सोचो. Think about yourself. We never say, छोटा बच्चा है, क्या सोचेगा? That is the wrong concept. छोटा बच्चा नहीं है. That child is not a small child. Grade 1 child is a 6-year-old child and capable enough, matured enough. And these children are much, advanced in their development of the brain. They can really baffle us and fool us and trick us as well. So don't take them lightly. They can do it. 10 minutes contemplation on a given day is not a big job for them. How I rate my 21st century skills. That is a learning skill, literacy skill, and life skill. Now here again, a training has to be taken and make the children understand what are 21st century skills. The 4 C's, the flips, and other things, right? So the 4 C's like communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity. The flips are flexibility, leadership, and all these things are there. You can search on the internet. I'm not going to waste time on that. So flips and literacy skills, all these are 21st century skill. The child is made to think, do I have these? I give 100% of myself to the end. So all these statements, if you see, these are written in a positive, present simple tense. So why these are written in positive present simple tense is because this is an ongoing activity and this is an affirmation that is bound to be driven into the brain of the child. Now comes the peer assessment. In the peer assessment page, you can see the friends will be assessing. How many friends? I have chosen 3 for my school. 1, 2, and 3 who will be signing this page. So in the first question is she helpful? She shares his or her things. Now here, I just noticed that we have to make it his and her. So he shares his things or their things and ideas. We can have a gender neutral pronoun like they as well. So shares things and ideas. She listens attentively and accepts others' views. Uses good language. She comes to school in proper uniform. She can lead from the front. She is respectful and well-mannered. She puts forward her or his point of view logically. She is excellent in. Now the friends are recognizing what the child is good in, maybe unnoticed by the teacher. Now here is a friend's view of the child, that yes, teacher never noticed that the child is good in this. The friends are noticing and putting it over here. And number 10 is she needs to work on his or her So here the friends are putting that what the child needs to improve. Many times what the friend says, the child understands and listens properly, much better than what teachers tell. Teachers keep on telling, they will lecture, they will tell different things. But yes, if the friend tells something that you need to be, well dressed, or you need to, get your nails cut every day, or you need to pack your bag every night, polish your shoes, that they will take more seriously. Next. So they will be finally signing over here. Next comes the parents' feedback. In the parents' feedback or parents' assessment, I would say parents' assessment as well. Again, here also friends, term 1 and term 2. So it's clearly in term 2, they can tell that area of improvement and it can be seen over here. So the progress can be seen. Parents' feedback is, she is emotional and sympathetic to others. Now here we are talking about a child, not only the English score or math score. If the mother is not well, does the child have the emotions to tell the mother, do not worry, take rest, I'll do my own things. I'll fill up my bottle and drink water. Or no, don't need to cook something that will be difficult for you. Give me anything, I'll eat it today in my school. That emotion, going to someone and putting the hand on the head, that are you well? So that emotion has to be there. The parent has to put in that. Emotions are dying very strong, rapidly these days. She is helpful in household work. I always advise my children and the parents, make the child do household work. That will help the child develop the cognitive and psychomotor and all the domains. You must have seen karate movies. In karate movies, the disciple goes to a karate master, makes him mop the floor for an entire month. And then the child is furious. Why you're making me mop? I've come here to learn karate. And then the teacher tells, okay, let's fight. And when the child starts fighting, he notices all the gestures and the moves that he has picked up. It was because of the mopping and the cleaning of the floor and the washing of the clothes have taught him that, made him stronger. So household work is something that very, very strong, make the child develop very, without the notice of anyone, and they will develop. She behaves well in his or her sibling. So the child will behave with her sibling, how he behaves with the brother or sister. She is open to suggestions. Number 5, how satisfied are you with his or her study time? Now, when the parent puts over here, no, not satisfied, the school counselor can take over. The school teacher can take over that, you're not studying at home, do something. And the child is now aware that whatever I'm doing at home, a report of that is also going to the school. I spend quality time with my child on a daily basis. Now, this is a question for the parent, that are you really giving quality time to your child? Are you sitting at least for 15-20 minutes without mobile phone and talking to your child and trying to ask from him what happened in school? Forget about the subject, forget about the homework. Talk about what happened in school. Kya hua? Aur kya chal raha hai? Ask that fog question. Kya chal raha hai? And the child will tell, aur kya chal raha hai? And every time you ask that question, the child comes up with something new. Don't be judgmental when he answers. Then she is organized, manages time properly, including minimum screen time. So the screen time of the child, the parent makes a comment over here as well. How satisfied I am with his or her friend circle. Now, again, the question to the parents, that is the friend circle or the peer group good enough? Are we happy with the friend circle, or something needs to be done? Now, when the parent takes over here, the job for the parent and the school again starts. What needs to be done about the friends? What aspect of your child you love the most? Now here, the child will read this very attentively. What my parents feel that I am good in. Are they always criticizing me, or I have something good? So you get an opportunity to tell your child what the child is good in. And number 10, which aspect of your child you want to develop. So here the parent tells very clearly that, you're already good in these things, but I would be very happy if you develop these things. And the mother and the father signs. And this becomes a very key document for the child. Now, in the multiple intelligence, we have included Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, and the teacher is now assessing the child that what type of intelligence the child has. And it can be a single tick or multiple ticks depending on the child's nature. So all the musical, interpersonal comes over here. And based on that, Based on that, you are suggesting career options to the child. That, your child is good in these areas, and these are the career options that you have in front of you. So everyone will not target being a doctor and an engineer. Then the child may be professionally trained in. Now, when you say professionally trained in, like table tennis, cricket, football, music, guitar, you give some suggestion that, what type of training beyond the school hours the child can be done, because you have observed something good in the child in that area. So Sachin Tendulkars are not just born overnight. You have to observe them in school that, yes, the child is good in. Sachin Tendulkar wouldn't have been Sachin Tendulkar if that skill was not recognized and his brother wouldn't have taken him to Ramakant Achrikar. Next is, of course, the other things, attendance and the class teacher's remark. And the remaining pages that I have is my creative best. Here, the child will paste something that the child has done creatively. It can be a photo, it can be, something, even if the child has made a video, he can take a screenshot of that video and paste it over here. Something that the child has done, my creative best, written a poem, written a article. So these things will come in over here. My achievements in the year 2023-24. It's a way to make the child realize that do not let an year pass without achievements. You need to have achievements every year. You need to progress every year. So list it down. It may start with only 1 or 2, but then as years pass by, we are expecting to see a huge growth in this. It will become soon a page which will be full of achievements. And whatever is the achievement over here, that thing goes into the portfolio of the child as well. So the 360-degree report card, and NCF is also talking about the portfolio of the child. So here the portfolio is more meaningful. Books that I read, reading habits, the foundation literacy and numeracy, the reading habits, I would say the impetus of reading book has to be promoted. Here the books beyond textbook, what are the books that I'm reading? Put that over here. Put a few at least. Reading makes a man perfect. So this is where we can do it. Then we're going to put class photograph over here. Child will keep this report card and the photograph will be pasted over here. And then the report card ends with your school, picture of the school or whatever way you want to. So this is, how the report card looks like. I showed you one report card. I told you, the difference will be a few pages. The peer assessment, the parent assessment, the self-assessment, few options are here and there. The competencies will be entirely different. And lot many pages will be again same. The Bloom's taxonomy page, the Howard Gardner's page, all these pages can be repeated, and these are colorful pages. So the printing cost can be pretty well be under control. So this is how I have designed this particular report card. I've spoken about the NCF NEP. I've spoken about what are the key features that are supposed to be there. I've spoken about sensitizing the parents, the teachers, training everyone up. Even the friends need to be trained that how to fill up that report card, peer feedback without being judgmental, without trying to pull the leg of the child. So these trainings have to be done, and we are supposed to roll out this report card. The scores and mark system have not totally withdrawn, but in due course of time, it is supposed to go away, and only the competencies are supposed to remain level-wise. It should be like a video game. You play the beginner's level, you clear it, you go to the next level. You clear the next level, it go to the next level. So no grade marks is important. You just clear a level of competency, go to the next level. That is what competency-based assessment is talking about. And as I said, assessment and report card will be incomplete without the content and without the process. That is, content is the syllabus and the process is the teaching learning methodology. The choice of assessment has to be given. You cannot always take a pen and paper test. Differentiated instruction, differentiated learning outcomes, and differentiated competencies are also very important. Every child will not have the same competency. So differentiation in all these levels becomes very, very important. I hope you liked the report card. Whatever I've done is with the idea that I got after reading all the documents. CBSE may come up with something entirely different. I do not know. But as of now, I felt this is the best report card for my school. And I've shown it to a few other educators who felt that they want to adopt the same report card. And it's a 20-page report card. Printing cost, we're not printing in a very hard material. It's going to be something like that looks like a school brochure, that type of page. School brochures and leaflets in what page we print, that type of page we are using. And I have taken the cost also from a local printer. For our school, it's costing around 50 to 60 rupees per report card. So that is what is the cost of printing. I've calculated that as well. So now it's up to the leaders to ask questions. If you want any clarity, share your feedback, opinion, what you think about it, whether you think that whether this report card is really holistic or not, whether it really makes sense. It not only is in the surface level, but the report card really drives a lot of things beyond that. Beyond the report card, a lot of things happens. So if you feel like that, let me know. And when you use the report card, if you need any training, I'm always there for you. So any help you need, I'll always be there to guide you. Your teachers need some training, definitely feel free to contact me. We can talk about that as well. So now I leave it to the moderator, Himani ma'am, to take over, and I'm done from my side.
Thank you so much, sir, for adding on to the intellectual pursuits of our participants. We do have some questions, and meanwhile, I would like to tell the participants that they may virtually raise their hands. So there is a question which says, do you have plans to make this report card cumulative, as in to be carried on to successive years? And that will definitely give a wholesome picture for a child's progress. Your viewpoint.
Absolutely. Report cards and holistic progress card is bound to be cumulative. If you're not making it cumulative, it's not a holistic progress card. So cumulative progress card is definitely, a need of the hour. Even without this holistic progress card, the progress card was supposed to be cumulative. Because if you're not making a cumulative progress card, the next teacher do not understand at all what happened to the child. What is the development of the child from the previous class? So my answer is, the person who asked this question is definitely hit the hammer on the nail. That report card is definitely going to be a cumulative one, and we are supposed to maintain all the back-end reports to make that report card cumulative. And these back-end reports can be in digital format, because otherwise it will take a lot of space. So maintain that in a soft copy and use that as a cumulative report card. And the copy of the report card that you're giving to the child, one copy needs to be maintained in the school as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We have an educator, Ms. Bhani Bhatt. Could you please unmute yourself?
And I would really appreciate if the person comes up on this, on the video, start the video, so that I can read what they're telling, the lip reading. It will help me. Otherwise, at times I miss out what they're asking.
Yes, sir. Ms. Bhani Bhatt, could you please unmute yourself? So meanwhile, we have a few more questions.
Sure, please.
Miss Asha Rani has asked, which year onwards would you suggest that the schools start following holistic progress card?
Shubhasya Shigram, it's said in Hinduism, That's as soon as you can. I am starting from my term 1. I have held back my report card for term 1. Normally, we give out our report card before Diwali. But this time I conducted a meeting with all the parents, informed them that this is why we are delaying the report card. It's still not ready. I have designed it. Now it's going for printing. We will declare it post Diwali. So my term 1 progress report is in hold right now. It will be rolled out only after Diwali reopens. So this year itself, we can use it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We have Mr. Vishwa Chandrana asking if you could guide him how students would add their views in the progress report card for peer assessment column.
See, peer assessment column is more about a tick mark, right? I told you that whether the child respects others' decisions. So 3 friends, they can come together. And these friends can be chosen by the child. We are not going to impose that these 3 children are going to do your peer assessment. The child will tell that, I want 1, 2, or 3 of my friends to assess me. So the child will again be given a choice that these 3 friends or these 2 friends or this 1 friend will assess me. So when the friend is assessing, the child will just put tick, yes or no. It's a checklist. So is the child helpful? What the peer friend feels. And when the child puts a tick mark, we have to train the friends or the students of the class to make them understand that when we are questioning them, that why did you put that tick over here? You should have an answer for that. That why did you put, in the second column? Why not in the first? Why not in the third? So when you ask that and the child has a logical answer to it, they will do it more responsibly. So it's a tick mark. And then what are the good areas of the friend? They can write anything. They can write the friend is looking good, handsome, beautiful, smells good. Or, the friend shares tiffin with me every day. I like that part of him. So whatever the child thinks, let them write. We are not going to put words in their mouth, because that is peer assessment, not teacher assessment. The child may come and ask you, you can tell what you feel, you write down. It may be wrong. It may be, it may at times may not make sense at all. But then doesn't matter. The child has to make certain mistakes before they reach perfection. Let them do it. So don't put words in the child's mouth. They will come up with their own answers. Children are very, very intelligent, let me tell you. We underestimate them. You will be amazed by the replies that I have run a mock drill in my school, and I was amazed with the answers that I got. And you try to do it before you actually implement it, and I'm pretty sure you will be amazed with the answers as well.
Yes, sir. Sir, Miss Dipali had asked the question, which I think you've already answered, that for peer assessment, do we leave the decision of deciding the peers filling up their progress card solely on the students themselves?
Absolutely. They will choose, because I cannot tell that, no, Rohit will assess you, and because I'm not in good terms with Rohit, I'm always afraid the report card mein kya dalega wo. So I will decide who will assess me. So remember, when we're talking about in competency-based education, child is in the center. We are not just talking about in terms of mere words or sentences. We should mean it. That yes, child is in the center. The child decides everything. The child decides what he will write in his English competency or report card as well. The child decides who is going to be the friend that are going to assess me. So that is what the child is deciding. Think about how much power we are giving to the child. And with increased power comes increased responsibility. So when the child is given the power, the child will become responsible.
Yes, sir. Very well answered, sir. We have one more question from an educator, P. Prasanna. They asked that, what about students with special needs? Are we going to follow the same pattern of the progress card?
Absolutely. Students with special needs, we are looking at them, for example, the competencies that I'm talking about, there may be a competency which says the child is able to listen to music and tell it. Now, that will not be applicable, right? So here we have the chance of customizing a report card for that particular child. So here it will not, the class or the entire school will have how many special children? Let's say 50 of them across all the grades. So for these 50 children, certain competencies which are not meant for them can be removed from the report card and a fresh one can be replaced, which is more sensible for that particular child. If the child is visually impaired, we cannot tell that the child is able to see colors and recognize it. It will have a negative impact. So we are not going to put that competency over here. So as far as the competencies are concerned, we're going to remove that. Everything else remains same. The assessment, what I want to be when I grow up, I complete what I start, my screen time, I'm in control. Do I have a hobby? The affective domain, the psychomotor domain. Yes, psychomotor domain, again, imitating. So imitation can be of multiple forms. It may not be always a visual imitation. It can be something that I hear and imitate. So whatever way the child is able to, we need to be very, very sensitive about that particular thing. So when we roll out a report card for the special need children, we need to carefully analyze the competencies. And this can be again done with the report card team. They can sit together and decide to remove a few competencies from there or add a few ones or alter a few ones. Because the school, the principal and the teachers are in total control. So they can do as per their requirement. But definitely it has to be modified for the CWSN, at least the competency part, not other parts.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We have another question from an educator, Farhad Sheikh. They asked that they have understood the 80 marks distribution, but what about the remaining 20 marks out of the total of 100 marks? If you could just run.
That's internal assessment. The internal assessment, what is it? You already know that. Pen paper test, 10 marks. Then subject enrichment activity, portfolio, multiple assessment. So you are able to use those 20 marks as per your requirement. So portfolio, I already told you the child needs to have a portfolio. So 5 marks goes for the portfolio. The subject enrichment activity. So this can be done for different subjects in a different way. It can be a listening and speaking skill in English or languages. It can be a project in social studies or environmental education. And mathematics, it can be again a sort of a presentation or project or a working model the child is preparing. So multiple assessment. So multiple assessment actually gives the power to the child again to decide how I want to be assessed. Now, we are not giving choices because we are not trained in that way in our journey as a teacher. We always feel like we make the decision and the child is supposed to follow. I was talking about this with my teachers. Can we make this a choice for the child that, how I want to be assessed? The topic is, let's say, light. So do I want to appear for a pen paper test, or I want to make a video of it, or I want to make a project? Can we give this choice to the children? Immediately my teacher said, sir, बहुत दिक्कत होगा इसको maintain करने में. कोई बच्चा कुछ लेके आएगा, कोई बच्चा कुछ लेके आएगा. Some child will bring something, some child will bring something. I said, yes, but that is what competency-based education is talking about. Why you need to be always in the driver's seat? Why you need to have everything under control? Let it be uncontrolled. Let the child prove that what I have learned in his or her own way. See what he produces. So we can at least give 5 marks for that. So multiple assessment, when we're talking about, put that ball in the court of the child, that you tell me, you show me how you understood the topic. Whatever way you want, I will get convinced. So that is the choice that we are talking about. So the subject and activity goes like that. Portfolio goes. Pen paper test, again, you can take it as per your requirement. After every lesson, after every topic, you can conduct a pen paper test, and you can have an average of all those tests in 5 marks. And the final is, of course, the pen paper test, the portfolio, the subject and activity, and multiple assessment. So all these things you can do together. And other things are quizzes, the presentation of 15 marks, and a pen paper test, which can be a surprise test as well, or informed test. So as many times the number of the child is writing, the written ability of the child will improve. Second thing is, in the pen paper test, it can be a MCQ as well. It can be a MCQ, it can be a subjective question, it can be a pick and drop, anything. The creativity of that depends on the teacher. So 80 and 20, this 100 marks, we are breaking into so many fragments, so many different types of assessment, that a child will get the opportunity to score good in lot many domains. In lot many places, the child can score good. And if the child is focused throughout the year, the score of the child will definitely go higher up, and the emphasis on one single exam will be diluted, which is the need of the hour, that we're not supposed to put the entire emphasis on that 80 marks test we are conducting.
Thank you so much, sir. Very seamlessly explained. So we are getting constant requests from our educators that you may share your email ID with them so that they may get in touch with you.
All right, sure. Should I put it in the chat box, or where is the chat box?
Sure, sir. Or you could share it with Salam, sir, and he can share it across the groups. That would also work.
Oh, yeah, that's also fine.
Yes, sir.
I'll share with Salam, sir, and Salam, sir, can share it with the participants.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Educators,
Yes, sir.
the email ID of Dr. Datta will be shared with you eventually. So there is another question which I find very interesting. So we will ask the students what you want to be when you grow up, and let's say a child comes up with an answer that might not be very comfortable for the parents to listen to. The child
Right.
might say, "I want to be a dancer. I want to be an artist." So how to handle such situations?
I already told the same example, like when this Swami Vivekananda said, "I want to be a chariot puller," it's not a very comfortable answer for the parent as well, because the father was a lawyer and they were staying in the North Calcutta premium family. But then we need to make the parents understand that what is comfortable and what is uncomfortable for them. Now, whatever we think we are uncomfortable with, we need to break that barrier in our mind. We have a lot of things, notions that we have taken over from the previous generation. It's the 21st generation, and children will tell things, they will ask questions that may not be very in our comfort zone, but then we need to train the parents how to answer that. In fact, just after Diwali vacation, when my school reopens, I'm conducting a session on sex education for parents, so that they can in turn educate their children. So I've given a topic, talk everything about sex, something that the parents also do not know, and we're going to talk about that. What exactly is this, and the parents should be able to explain that to the children in what language. The only keeping the things undercover never helps, because the child is going to have that curiosity, and the child is going to find it out from a wrong place. So it's better that the parent answers. So if a child says, "I want to be a dancer," yes, great. So you want to be a dancer. So what type of dancer you want to be like? You want to be like Michael Jackson? You want to be like, let's say, Sudha Murthy? You like to be like Elvis Presley? So what type of dancer you want to be? No, I want this dancer. So when they answer something, why should we assume that moment they're telling dancer, they're trying to become a Baiji of Lucknow? It's not like that. They might have seen dancer somewhere else and they're thinking that way. In fact, I remember a joke somewhere. The child was asked by a parent, mother, "What you want to be when you grow up?" And the child said, "A prostitute." And the mother said, "What?" The child says, "A prostitute." The mother said, "Thank God, I thought you want to become a Protestant." So that is how they handle, it's not something that is taboo. Something that is taboo is in our minds. We have to make the child understand that why it is good, why it's not good, what are the flip sides of it. Having a boyfriend, girlfriend, is it really bad? So all these uncomfortable questions, if the parents do not answer, someone who is having half knowledge of that will answer for the child, and child will go in the wrong direction. So we cannot have topics with which we are not comfortable with, anything under the sun. In fact, I can proudly tell that with my son, I can discuss everything under the sun, whatever is it. The jokes that he cracks with his hostel friends, he shares it with me. And I'm okay with that. Because we cannot tell that these are the things we are not here. Kaan band kar lo. Nothing like that. And when the child is trained in this way, the value system of the child becomes so strong over the years that then the child will not tell you something that you will not love to listen to. Because initially they will tell. And then when you explain to them, talk about it, they will slowly understand what is the logic. Never try to, make them quiet by, sort of a bullying attitude or a reprimanding attitude. That will not work. So be comfortable. Whatever the child asks, whatever the child says, be comfortable, ask questions, probe, deep dive. Why? Why you want to be that? What features you have seen that you like that profession? So when you ask that, it helps.
Yes, sir. We need to create that comfortable space. So there's one more question. So Miss Dipali is asking that there are many RTE parents in schools, and sometimes it is very difficult for them to understand the assessment pattern. So there is a possibility while doing the parent assessment work, they might get influenced by a teacher's opinion because they might not grasp the essence. So what should be done in such a case?
See, first of all, as I told, the awareness level and the training of the parents have to be done. So the next step that I'm doing in my school before the parents fill up the assessment is make them sit and fill up a dummy assessment in the class. So the parents will come and fill up a dummy assessment. Second thing is all these complicated terms, make it bilingual if possible. Whatever is the local language, if you can make it bilingual, or the parents page, if you feel you can make it the same language that you speak in the outside world. It can be Malayalam, it can be Marathi, it can be Hindi, whatever you're comfortable with. By bilingual is my suggestion, because some parents are comfortable reading English, and the ones who are not comfortable with English can read the Hindi or Marathi or Malayalam version of it and can fill up. And I think the questions that we have asked, it's a tick mark the child parent is supposed to put. And the question is very, very objective. That are you happy with the friends? Are you happy with the screen time? Are you happy with the study time? What are the good qualities that you see in the child? I don't think it's rocket science for the parent to understand. Only when you explain it once, make them do a dummy run, it will work. So I have suggested, even if you fill up the report card, before you fill up the report card, do it on a Xerox sheet. Take a Xerox printout of your parents' feedback. It will cost you just ₹1, and then fill it up. Be satisfied that whatever you filled, you've done it properly. If you want to get it checked by someone, you can bring it and show it to us. We'll let you know, and then you fill it up finally. So that will help the parent to, maybe the first year they do something wrong. Does not matter. Every time we make a mistake, we learn. So we have to keep this margin for error of the parents as well. Let them make faults at times. Doesn't matter. It will not be a big harm. You can always put a whitener and do something later on. But let them try to do it, because with that, the journey of parents being involved with the school and academics and the child will happen, which is not happening right now. Parent is only taking the report card to sign after seeing the score of that. Now here we are making the parent involved, and to make a shift from a very, very casual parent to an involved parent is a big journey. It sounds like filling up one page, but the journey is transformational. So we need to give it time. We need to accept the errors and let it happen. And I'm pretty sure that when India, illiterate people of India can also vote and elect in government, they can definitely choose options for their own child.
True. Very, very well said, sir. Dear educators, if you have any more queries, you may raise your hand virtually, or you may post your question in Q&A box and we'll take it up. Sir, in the middle of the session, there was a question one educator had asked, that the quiz that we are talking about, the 15-marker quiz, is it supposed to be in objective mode, or we can use our own prerogative in this?
You can use your own prerogative, because as I told, this design is not something that CBSE has designed and given to us. It's something that I have thought about. I've seen the problems that I am facing as a principal, the teachers are facing. I've designed it that way. So the quiz can be an objective quiz, or it can be a one-line answer. It can be a two-line, but do not make it too subjective. Then it will not really work. Make it objective, maybe a one-liner, two-liner, or 3 lines at the max. That will help.
Yes, sir. So I think we have a query. Miss Alpna, could you unmute yourself? Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm from Delhi Public School, Bhopal. I'm from the Calarix group of schools, the senior manager with the academic team. In fact, even we have made the holistic progress card, but it is only for from grade 1, 2, and 3. So like this was indeed a very good session wherein I could understand how to make the holistic progress card for grade 4, from 4th to 9th as well. But I wanted to ask, like, because we are conducting the modular exams, that is the pen and paper test. So can we mention that as well in the holistic progress card?
You're talking about the pen and paper test and the scores for it, or how? What are you talking about?
So actually, it is like a 20 marker test, which is taken every week. Like you showed us 80 marks, which is which had integrated made
Right.
that is the quiz and everything.
Mhm.
But we had a 20 marker pen and paper test. That is how, because I was not aware about, like, you can have these multiple assessments in the manner of quiz and seminars or internships, which now I understood that that would be great for classes 8 onwards, because we do send our children for internships and seminars and MUNs and all. So that we can integrate from next year, I suppose, because this year we've already made it in the form of a modular exam, which was given by CBSE in the NCF as in the NEP document as well. So we included that modular exam instead of Friday test that we were having. So we had 4 cycles, and we have taken the average of, like, from 4 MEs, best of 2, like, so for term 1, best of 1, and then term.
Maintain that, ma'am. In fact, I showed a page where I have maintained the report card format that we used for previous years. I have
Correct.
the scores over there, right? Subject
Yes.
and scores. So in whatever way you used to present your report card earlier, keep a page like that, because that will, in a way satisfy the parents that yes, the score is there. As I
Correct.
told you, we cannot, radically do something. A big change cannot brought in all of a sudden. It will have reactions. And when
Correct.
other schools are not doing it, your school is only doing it, the reaction will be even more. So it's always advisable that you keep that one page same, keep telling the parents it's going to be withdrawn. See what CBSE does every time, no? They do the same thing, that 40 is the strength of the class. All of a sudden they say 45 is not
Yeah.
acceptable. And then they said, okay, 3 years time out dete hain. 3
Correct.
40 mein leke aao. So you tell them that this is there at the moment, but right now in 3 years time or 2 years time, it will go off.
So,
So,
so gradually we need to remove that from, like,
yes.
change the
So,
mindset of the parents rather.
yeah,
Like.
that can only happen when you list down the competencies. So when I'm having my eyes open, I'm bound to look somewhere. You don't want me to look at the TV, so I have to look at the sofa. So
Correct.
I have to make people understand that don't look at the TV, look at the sofa. So what is the sofa over here? The sofa is the competencies. So
Correct.
these are the competencies that you're supposed to look and check. Because if your child knows these things, not only knows, if the child is able to do these things, knowing is something that is not acceptable anymore. The
Yeah.
child should be able to do. Skill should.
Yeah, the skill.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So when the parent understand, yes, my child is developing the skills, then for them also slowly the marks will not matter anymore.
Okay.
Right? But till that happens, you can maintain a scorecard just like your previous report card, but make it a one pager and do not put it in the beginning. Put it somewhere in the middle.
Sure.
Preceded by competencies and then followed by some other things, just like I showed you the
Sure.
creative best and other things.
Yeah. So can you please share your email ID so that in case if we have
Dr.
any.
Salah, but I'm telling you, it's very simple. Dr. Swaroopdatta@gmail.com.
Okay.
Swaroop is with a U, not double O. And Datta is DUTTA. Dr. Swaroopdatta@gmail.com.
Okay.
You can even Google me up. Dr. Swaroop Datta Education, you Google up. You will see my email address and phone number also over there. So, but I'll share it with Salam sir in particular, so he can share it with all the participants.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir, for a very interactive and very wonderful session, like, which we were really looking forward for. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I just wanted to have a few opinions about how they felt about this report card. Does it make sense? Because everyone feels that whatever he has done is good. So that's my look at it. But I wanted to feel and understand from the view of all these participants today, that what they think and feel about it. So if 1 or 2 people can quickly pitch in and tell their opinion, it will be really helpful for me.
Yes, dear participants, you can raise your hands virtually, or you can leave your feedback in the Q&A chat box, and I will definitely take it up. And sir, I think personally, it was very enlightening. And also the number of queries we have, we know that the educators are really looking forward to implement something so revolutionary. So it speaks for itself, sir. So there is one more question.
Sure.
An educator, Saraswati Menon, had asked, how can we assess the remedial and where can we place the 15 marker quizzes that you had explained? Should we put them as a part of internal assessment or should we take them as pen and paper test?
No, as I showed earlier, 80 marks paper and 20 marks internal assessment. That is the original format. 80-20, right? That's what we normally do. 20 marks internal assessment and 80 marks is the pen paper test. Now, what I've done is I have broken down that or divided that 80 marks paper into multiple things. So the 80 is now brought down into a weightage of 40. So each term you're going to conduct 80 marks paper, but bring it down to 40, divided by 2. Now, remaining 40 marks comes from where? 15 marks comes from quiz. 15 marks comes from, the seminar and internships and, everyday speech, 1 minute speech or whatever the teacher is conducting in the class. And 10 marks comes from pen paper test the teacher can conduct after a particular unit or a particular topic. So 40, 15, 15, 10 makes it 80. And remaining 20 is the pen paper test, the portfolio, the subject enrichment activity, and the multiple assessment. So these many types of different assessments we are doing, and that will give the child a lot of options. The child is assessed multiple number of times, and that gives the flexibility to the assessment system. And it can be very safely told that with this method of assessment, we can go into assessment as learning instead of assessment of learning. And of course, we need assessment for learning and assessment as learning. So this can happen with this. Assessment for learning can happen with the quizzes, the pen paper test of 10 marks, because the child and the teacher will understand where we are right now. And then finally, the assessment of learning of 80 marks, that's also reduced to 40. That will really reduce the emphasis on assessment of learning and bring up the assessment for and assessment as learning higher up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Let me put this across. Our esteemed educators are thanking you for this excellent session. And I think brilliant seems to be the unanimous call here. And if you can access the chat box, you can see that we have plethora of replies thanking you for this great, fruitful session. Salam, sir. Should I continue with vote of thanks?
At the same time, there are some remarks about the how it is progress card that Dr. Datta has shown. You can just read out a few. Very creative, constructive feedback is given by some.
Yes, sir. Sir, so we have Mr. Rohit saying that it is important to assess students where students' overall development is important. So a 360-degree report card, and it's a core of assessment. And sir has elaborated precisely. And then they say that report cards shown here are very helpful. Then we have Ms. Pooja saying that it was an insightful session with a lot of learning. And the report card looks very extensive and truly holistic. And we also have our educators thanking you for your efforts. And everybody has been asking if you could share the sample, which I'm sure you definitely would when they would reach out to you through the email. So yes.
And I want this, the educators who are attending the session, when Dr. Salam will be sharing the YouTube link with you, and I would recommend please share it with as many schools that you can. I'm open to give this format to anyone without any cost. And the only thing is, as I said, mention that where you've taken from as a copyright act, but as many people can use it, the better. Because we are all educators, we are trying to transform the entire country. And it cannot happen by just putting things in my school. I want that to happen in every school. And I'm pretty sure when we do it together, a lot of positive feedback, constructive feedback, things which are not working will come up, and we can redesign the report card again in a better way next year. So every time we design something new, it will be something more futuristic. So this is just a starting point. It's a baby step that I have taken right now. And I believe that quality has got no finish line. The best can be improved. So this is just the beginning. There will be glitches. There will be areas which we think that can be improved, but let it come out when we implement. So let's implement and check. So share this YouTube video with maximum number of people. Let it spread like, a pollen grain that falls anywhere and gets a conducive atmosphere and grows into a tree. So that's what I would recommend. And Dr. Salam, also please share that with all these people who are attending so that it spreads.
Yeah, as usual, we'll be sharing, we have more than 1,500 people registered. Only 300 could join because of the less capacity. And it is all live on YouTube as well. But immediately after the session, we email all the registered participants the video. Most probably tomorrow morning we will be doing. The question is, if they want that sample, holistic progress card from you, they should contact you through email, right?
Yes, what they need to do is they will just contact and they will just put it in the school letterhead that we want to take this holistic progress card sample. They can make changes on that. It's not that they have to use the same thing. Competencies can differ, but they will just put an undertaking over there that we will adopt this report card, and we are going to mention at the one of the back page maybe that this report card has been designed by Dr. Swarup Datta, copyrighted, and it's taken permission from him, and we are producing it. That's it.
All right, Himanima, let's wait. Thank you.
Yes.
And I'll share all the 9 report cards, 9 class 1 to class 9, all the report cards I will be putting and sending it as a mail.
Yes, sir. I would like to extend our gratefulness and appreciation for Dr. Datta for broadening our horizons by regaling us with this boundless discourse. I'm sure we will apply these tenets in our teaching modus operandi and ensure that our young learners reap maximum benefit out of it. Dear participants, kindly note the link for certificate and feedback form has been already posted. You're requested to fill up the form with all the necessary details. I, Himani Bakshi, along with the CBSE Bharat Sahodaya Complex, would like to thank Dr. Datta once again for his gracious presence and enriching experience and all his altruistic efforts. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Abdul Salam for his magnanimous support and guidance. Thank you, sir, for such a great opportunity. Also, a big thank you to the technical team, Arun Mohan sir, for a flawless execution of today's session. And most importantly, thank you to all the participants for their enthusiasm. I sincerely hope we earned the privilege of your time. Over to you, Salam, sir.
Thank you so much, Himani ma'am, as usual. More than usual, you did a lot of help for us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And equally, we are glad that we got on board again second time this month. I mean this month. Dr. Swarup Datta with his masterpiece, holistic progress card. Thank you so much, Dr. Datta. I always wondered the proactiveness and the enthusiasm of Dr. Swarup Datta. I don't know how he finds time. For me, 24 hours is not enough, but he, utilizes it very well. He can be seen everywhere. So thank you, Dr. Swarup Datta. What more to say? Participants have, given their feedback about the holistic progress card. One thing is sure that we have to make this shift happen. We have to come out of the traditional setup to the holistic learning where the learner is at the center. We are just the, scaffolders, helping them, evaluating them, helping with assessment and all. One question I have with Dr. Swarup, how do we get parents assessment of the child in this 360-degree assessment?
Sorry, I missed that question. Can you repeat that? How do
the parents assess the child in this in your holistic progress card?
See, the parents are assessing, I would say, the other side of the child, the non-academic side of the child. Because when we are talking about 360-degree view, everyone cannot look at the same side and assess. So when we are looking at an elephant, someone is looking at the trunk, someone is bound to look at the tail as well. So how the child is in school, we are seeing that. How the child is in home, that's what the parent assessment comes in. The parent feedback can be renamed as parent assessment as well. So I was contemplating what to do. So I'll just take that call to make it a parent assessment instead of parent feedback, where the parent is putting their opinion. They're talking about the study time, the screen time, the friends, the other, is the child having emotions, positive emotions, how the child behaves with his sister. So that is an entire dimension of the child that we are not aware of. And the parents are looking at the child and appreciating the child from their perspective. So that is also an assessment of the child. The moment we say assessment, it need not be an academic assessment. 360-degree assessment has to be a holistic assessment, something that is going beyond the scores and the marks. That is what the parents' feedback form is all about. It's not about academic assessment, because parents are not supposed to do academic assessment of the child. The parents are supposed to assess something that they see and they are related to it. So that's the reason we have not put anything apart from the study time and screen time in the parents' feedback column.
Thank you. Thank you. I asked this question on behalf of the participants. Well, that answered very well. But I do have, a different, holistic progress card followed in my school, where we have a kind of book that comprises of the competencies and the concept. Each page has the concept. For example, maths a unit they have covered, all the concept is there, and it is asking for the parents to tick whether this sum was the child was able to do the sum with the parents' help or himself. So that kind of questions we have. So it is very comprehensive. Of course, yours is a different one that also is self-explanatory. As you have rightly said, it is up to the school or the heads or leaders, teachers. They can contribute to making a wonderful holistic progress card following today's guidance. Thank you so much, Mr. Dr. Datta. We would like to see you again with another very interesting topic, so that we have conducted 190. This is the 191st session. Lots and lots of educators have benefited or benefiting. We want your service, with us as long as we can. So thank you so much, Dr. Datta, Himani ma'am, Arun sir, and all the educators, all principal, vice principal, those who have joined. So you can, we will post this video on YouTube, and you can take it as a reference if you have missed certain parts because of technical glitches, this and that. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Datta. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you so
night.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Good night.
Good night. Good night.